I'll be honest, a small girl doing ballet while there's a bank heist happening felt quite poetic. But then I quickly realized, wait, there is no bank, it's the girl they're after. And I just lied to you. I did try to avoid spoilers, but on the IMDb page, you immediately see the girl screaming with her teeth out, meaning that she's evil. It was an interesting premise, though. It starts out where a bunch of people are on a mission to abduct someone they call Tiny Dancer. And if they were going for code, I'll say it first. That's the worst code name I've ever heard. That is literally what she is. She is a child, tiny, and she is a dancer. Anyone listening in on them would immediately know what's going on. But anyway, hi there. Hope the video is fun so far. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. Thank you so much. In the middle of the mission, one of the crew members realizes, wait a minute, we're about to kidnap a child, and she's utterly disappointed. And I was like, okay, wait, you didn't know? Like, you had no idea what was going on. How did you even become part of this? Like, what did the conversation go exactly? Someone said, we got a mission, it pays 7 million, you in? And you just said, yeah, I'm in, no details needed. So if the mission was to go to Russia to fight Russians, you're like in just like that. And look, the reason I was so irritated with this was because later on, where they're keeping the girl, this woman IDs every single person on the team, their entire lives. She just talks about it like she's injected herself with the Sherlock Holmes virus or something. But when it comes to the plan, she's clueless. Anyway, during the mission, we see 0 guards around the house, even though she's high profile and seems super rich. The fact that these highly professional individuals don't stop to question the lack of security, that's alarming, but also shows just how incompetent these characters were written. The father arrives at the house, and the sniper on the roof is like, I've got this shot, should I take it? Like, are you serious? How does that even make sense ever? Aren't you kidnapping her for ransom? When daddy dies, there usually is no party left that pays. This is literally the moment in video games where you take the shot and you get the mission failed screen. I'm only a few minutes in and I already hate this movie more than anything else I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, so they get the girl and take her to the creepiest looking house on earth, because, well, in case you missed it up until now, it's supposed to be a horror movie. And we see the boss waiting for his crew to arrive in front of the house, and look, it's Gus from Breaking Bad. How the mighty have fallen. But it gets worse. He calls himself Lambert. And look, I don't know why, he just doesn't seem like a Lambert to me. He also calls them lovely pack of rats for basically no reason. The script is just random words thrown together. The driver from the crew wears a spray ground t-shirt that says, follow your dreams. Not sure if his dreams were driving vans while kidnapping kids, but then again, who am I to judge? Actually, you know what? I think I will judge that because I'm a pretty normal dude. Yeah, that's super messed up. Also, why the is he biking in the house? That's so frustrating. Honestly, I hope he dies first. They are going to die, right? I mean, except for this girl, obviously. You might say, why obvious? Well, she's got that main character energy going on. Not really. It's just super lame, predictable horror movie shenanigans things. You start watching and you immediately know who live and who likely die. So Lambert calls the girl Joey. And there it is again, that feeling of, I don't know, man. The name just doesn't sit right with me. I hate it. I just hate it. Isn't Joey mostly used for men? But it doesn't matter, right? Let's just move past it. Joey does her Sherlock Holmes bit. She then goes and talks to the girl, comes back and expresses her concern to the police guy, Frank. Frank kind of works for this guy, I think. Frank finds out who the girl's father is by threatening to shoot her, and he's like, nope, I'm out. He says it's someone named Christophe Lazar, and they all start freaking out. I, on the other hand, legitimately had to stop the movie and Google Christophe Lazar. And I was really upset to find out that his name has only significance within the movie's realm. Because my dumbass thought that the guy was some urban legend that maybe I didn't know about, and then freaking out before even providing any sort of context felt so out of the loop to me. As a viewer, I was like, whoa, wait, who's Christophe Lazar, guys? Wait, why are we abandoning the mission, though? Even after the explanation they provide, though, I felt lost. Like the way they talk about him, calling him Antichrist. Do they believe in ghosts too? I was genuinely confused, man. Why do they believe in vampires and shit? Since when is that considered the norm? Okay, this time, I'm not even sure it's AI slop. Maybe it was an 8-year-old writing the script. I don't know which one would be worse. I guess AI, because, hey, I'd be interested in an 8-year-old's horror movie perspective. But so far, I would have to say, stay in school, kid. Trust me. Or don't, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, they established that Lazar would hunt them down and get them killed. But right as they are about to bail on the mission, the dude with a teddy bear t-shirt who was biking in the living room minutes ago says, I need a lot of money, man. And suddenly they're all like, wait a second, we also need a lot of money. So even though we just decided to bail because we will definitely most certainly get killed, if we just pretend to not know the dad can't hurt us and we're safe. So they decide to stay and full send it. Like, the change of heart is so random and lazy, it feels like the writers were like, oh shit, wait, the team is leaving. The team is leaving? If they leave, the movie's over. Okay, I can fix this. Just give me 20 seconds. Hey, ChatGPT, add a paragraph that makes them decide to stay and also makes sense. Thanks, you're the best. They break into teams and start exploring the place. And surprise, surprise, this Playground t-shirt guy dies first. Then the gang starts talking about a story of this unknown man who kills people in impossible scenarios, Valdez. Okay, so they do believe in ghosts then. They go and check on the girl to see if Valdez is chilling there, convinced that Valdez is in the house hunting them down. One of them goes, nope, I'm out. He goes downstairs to leave, but now the doors are locked. There is an Elon Musk impersonator, and he thinks he can break it by running at the door and hitting it with his shoulder. Of course, he fails. And remember how I've been complaining about the names from the start? I'm trying to immerse myself in the movie. I'm trying to be okay with all the stupid things that are happening. And then, suddenly, Joey calls this guy Rickles. The sniper dude. His nickname was apparently Rickles. I missed this because I kept thinking, where is the dog? What do you mean Rickles? I tried, man. I really tried. The names just ruin it for me. Okay, so fine. You know what? Rickles and Joey have a talk, and he reassures her that they're gonna get through this. And for a moment you think, okay, there's gonna be some deep connection, some sort of character development. But then not even 2 seconds pass, and Rickles is dead. Like, you can't make this shit up, man. Really? Rickles dies just like that. The team then decides, okay, you know what? We just lost Rickles. Let's torture the little girl to find a solution to our non-existent problems. The Musk impersonator goes upstairs and Joey follows to stop him. But Frank also goes to stop Joey from stopping Musk. Another Mexican standoff happens. Oh, and yeah, I forgot to mention, but this movie has like all kinds of Mexican standoffs like all the time. And then finally the reveal happens. And I mean, I don't even know if it's a reveal at this point anymore. The poster literally has the girl ominously look at the camera with sharp teeth and blood on her. But yeah, something happens. She's a vampire. Cool. They shoot her, and of course she doesn't die because you need a silver bullet for that. Wait, was that for werewolves? And then they lock the doors and recoup downstairs to have even more dialogue, making zero sense. In fact, it is so irrational. For you to get through it all, you'd have to shut your brain or be scrolling on your phone while the movie plays in the background. For instance, they argue that they should team up and kill her with stakes, right? But Joey says that they can't just go attack, they should instead bargain with the father to get out. Why is it so irrational? Well, for starters, if Joey knows that they're and they can't get to Abigail because she'd see it coming, don't you think that her father would know that too? Also, you do realize they are vampires, right? You're gonna bargain with a vampire dad? That's your plan? How would that even go? Hey, Lazar, Dad, can I call you Big D? You okay with being called Big Daddy, right? Anyway, we've got Abigail here, and no, we can't really harm her or even get close to her, and she'll probably kill us all, but if you let us go, we'll gladly give her back to you so she can murder other people instead. And also, we'll make sure to send you a weekly supply of freshly squeezed blood juice from our own veins, delivered to your doorstep for you to enjoy just as a gesture of gratitude. And I really thought it couldn't get any worse, but exactly then, the 8-year-old curse strikes again. They come to an agreement. Well, everyone except Joey, she's gonna chill downstairs, and the others are gonna try to take out Abigail. Sammy, that blonde girl, is given the job of going to the kitchen and bring back garlic. She comes back with a bag of onions, and when Frank tells her, she's like, well, I don't cook, so I don't know. She doesn't know what a fucking garlic looks like. She's at least 25 here. Like, for 25 years, she's not seen a single garlic. A hacker, by the way, a person who goes online and uses computers like all the time. I just couldn't take the movie seriously anymore. I really couldn't. I continued watching it for the sake of my membership, but at that point I was like, is this a sunk cost fallacy? Am I wasting my life away just because I paid Netflix $10? Probably. I also want to point out that this is definitely not a horror movie, not in the slightest. Maybe for a 9-year-old, but the movie is rated R, so who's the target audience? Maybe 9-year-old vampires who have been alive for hundreds of years. Abigail is doing some ballet shenanigans upstairs, the gang attacks her, they fail, and go back downstairs to mend their wounds. A few things I want to mention here real quick about the attack. First of all, they bring garlic with them after the confusion, but Abigail just smells the garlic and is like, lovely, that's some good f***ing organic garlic right there, and she throws it away. Is that a thing? Like, does garlic really not repel vampires? I swear I've seen a million different vampire stuff. Never did I see garlic actually working, by the way. Maybe it's a myth. Maybe vampires have, created that myth so we think we're safe, but in fact we're not. Second, they're all going in one by one. It was so annoying to see that when Abigail is busy doing some weird shit like smelling garlic, they're all AFK, just watching on the side. After having lost the 3v1, they realize, shit, we can't take her out together, let's split up. Makes absolute totally sense. Agree. It's a great idea. While split up, the girl that doesn't know what a garlic looks like somehow gets startled by bats and stumbles into a pool filled with dead bodies. And look, I'll level with you. If I throw away empty plastic bag of chicken, it starts stinking like a dead-ass animal in less than 2 days. I then literally have to close up the entire trash bag and get rid of it. There's no way dozens of decaying bodies in a pool don't reek like hell even from outside the house, let alone inside. Elon Musk impersonator gets a splinter and is in agony, and this is the only time I can actually relate to this movie. Splinters are the worst. Anyway, they're able to put the girl inside a sort of cage within the house after injecting her with a tranquilizer. And we find out that Lambert works for her, kind of. Everything was planned by her so she could kill everyone and dance and then dump the bodies into the pool. Oh, and Sammy gets bit by her during that whole ordeal where they fight her again. Abigail says whoever opens the gate gets to walk, and Frank opens it when everyone leaves for... Wait. Why did everyone leave? Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I had checked out by the end there a little bit. Okay, so I went back, watched it again. Turns out the Musk impersonator decides to open the gate so that he can walk. But then Joey threatens to shoot him. He doesn't take her seriously. Joey then shoots Musk in the lower abdomen and then immediately is like, let's patch you up. This scene reminded me of that time I told my wife to calm down during an argument. Later on, she brought me to the hospital because she had stabbed me. So it was a quite accurate depiction, I would say. Anyway, Frank opens the gate, of course, and surprise, surprise, he gets attacked by Abigail. Joey makes it just in time to break the Resident Evil boards on the windows so the sun can shine in. Abigail's arm explodes and they're safe for now. They go to the library for the secret door that Abigail told Frank right before he let her out, which doesn't exist, of course. But Joey's running around, like crazy, hitting the walls, and there's this curious music playing in the background. So naturally, I'm thinking, wait, she's cooking, she's gonna find something. But 2 seconds later, they show us a shot of her still trying to grind through the walls of the library while everyone else is just chilling, and turns out there's really nothing. And then suddenly Garlic Girl remembers, wait a second, I just need a power source, then I can make a short circuit and, the doors open up. No idea how that's even supposed to work. And Frank is like, what are you going to unplug, the entire house? And he's got a point. He's asking some reasonable questions. But Joey is like, it, we don't need to understand it. Let's just split up and search the house where a vampire is roaming. Okay, sure, Joey, makes sense, I guess. Musk impersonator acts his heart out when he convinces Garlic Girl that they can do it, that they're gonna get out of there. It's an emotional and deep moment that the movie had been lacking. No, wait, he's dead. I really don't get it. Did Garlic Girl turn into a vampire in this scene, or was she hypnotized? Because Abigail puts on a record and starts whispering to her, saying things like, you're mine, but she also has vampire teeth and even ends up exploding in the sun later on. So I'm not really sure. I guess our young scriptwriter wanted to have his cake and eat it too, so he just put both ideas in there. it. But once again, there's this emotional scene, some build-up happening, and the guy dies 2 seconds later. Anyway, some secret passage opens in the library, and the last 2 remaining characters, Frank and Joey, enter. They find Lambert, who turns out is also a vampire, but also he's working for Abigail, and he's bored, but also he's sexist because he wants Frank to join him, but not Joey. But also, he waited until the last second to reveal his plan instead of immediately telling Frank and then sabotaging Abigail, or maybe opening the windows to let the sun burn down Abigail. And he's also watching from the cameras, meaning he could have easily joined the gang when she was incapacitated at some point to finish the job, but because of, whatever, man. I'm done analyzing, okay? There is nothing to analyze. I'm just trying to make points, but when the movie is lacking points, you just start rambling. So yeah, Lambert offers Frank to become a vampire, and Frank is like, sure, why not? Easiest decision of my life. Just become a vampire. What are you, stupid? But then Frank kills Lambert with a stick almost instantly, which really makes you think the guy really didn't learn a thing from Breaking Bad, did he? I'm talking about Gus. Abigail arrives and says a few words instead of surprise attacking Frank, which gives him enough time to prepare, and then he seemingly kills her. And this guy, Frank, he was acting so well throughout the movie, but then he says that he hates ballet and immediately loses any chances he had of winning an Oscar. Frank throws Joey from wall to wall, literally, and when Joey asks why he doesn't just kill her, instead of saying, well, because then the movie would end, he says, where's the fun in that? Like, that guy is a very simple and straightforward man. He could care less about fun and would normally immediately finish her, as he doesn't give a single shit, but hey, if the viewer had asked, they answered, I guess. He also says, and this is super random by the way, that he's gonna make her kill her own son. What? Okay. Like, why did he start mega hating on her all of a sudden? What did Joey do? No idea. He just hates her for no reason, just at the end of the movie there. Abigail comes back just in time to save Joey from a huge drop, but then again, I doubt anything would have happened to her. She could have just let her fall. And then she goes on to explain to her enemy that in order to kill her, he must drain her. After a long, very long sequence of 2 vampires and a woman fighting, even though Joey gets stabbed through her chest with a metal pipe of sorts, and is then pulled out of that pipe in an insanely painful and agonizing fashion. I mean, she literally got a wormhole in her body now. That doesn't look like something you could just walk off or shake off that easily. She does. She walks it off and shakes it off easy peasy. She even goes to continue fighting. And you know what? I'm like, fine, whatever. Adrenaline helps her get up every time, I guess, or something. But then she's headbutted and thrown into yet another bookshelf, and she still gets up, super chill. Honestly, she doesn't even look hurt. I look more hurt getting up in the morning after a good night's sleep. But I guess mom power just beats vampire power or whatever. And after a series of several impossible scenarios, sloppy dialogue, and cheap effects, girl power beats the alpha male power, which was the police vampire Frank. And then for no reason whatsoever, like none, the vampire girl tells Joey to just show up for her son, to be there. And that would be enough. They're both covered in blood. They both almost died. But suddenly we're being emotional. Suddenly she's a friend. Like, okay, thanks for that emotional closure, guys. Really well written. Lots of depth. I like it. And of course, it's even more meaningful when it comes from a bloodthirsty killer vampire who killed more than several human beings, quite possibly people who were even dads and moms themselves. And she was literally trying to kill Joey like a few minutes ago, but now is giving her life advice on how to raise a child. Cool, thanks, Abigail. And thus, the emotional balance of the movie has been established. It was not just AI slop, it had deep, meaningful conversations and human connections too. In the very end, though, we finally get to see a vampire that actually looks like a handsome Twilight-like vampire, rather than whatever these weird-ass monsters were supposed to be. The father, Lazarus. Was it Lazar? Bizarre Lazarus. As I said, I was so checked out by the end, I just didn't care, and I didn't even bother going back and fact-checking it. I'ma just call him lazy, because he only came towards the end of the movie. But boy, Was this a boring flick? Netflix definitely did deserve my cancellation with this awful suggestion that was supposed to be horror, though. I doubt the Netflix algorithm has any idea what kind of horror movies to suggest, which ones are scary or which ones I would actually enjoy. I mean, they literally put scary movie in the horror section, for crying out loud. Makes sense. I mean, AI reads scary movie and is like, shit, this is definitely a horror movie. Anyway, time for me to fax out. Beep boop bop.